Oh, very good today. Obviously looking forward to this game. Huge rivalry on the cards. Obviously, Røkkr have a little bit of an extra storyline coming into this one as well. Lots of people watching to see how they do. But I think the most important thing for me in this game is Scrappy has to be one of the most anticipated players to play in the league in quite some time. We know what he's capable. We saw him in Vanguard last year, but this is the CDL. This is the next level. They've gambled a lot on him. Let's see what he can do.
Yeah, I agree with Nameless. I agree with you. It's a big gamble from Toronto Ultra. You have that tried and tested squad that was in Cold War. And I think if it wasn't for FaZe existing, they win pretty much nearly every event of the year. They were constantly that number 2 team. They looked so solid. Vanguard, a little bit shaky, and they decided on that to make a huge change. And again, I completely agree with everything that I said. There's a big point to prove. You feel Bance and Cammy, Afro into that roster as well. It's so interesting to see how Røkkr are going to bounce back from yesterday's outcomes as well. Of course, we don't want to linger on it too long, but the pressure they would have been feeling from social media, etc., I think they'll be wanting to bounce back nicely here.
Yeah, a win would certainly help put their minds at ease, as well as probably have a lot going on social media. But no, obviously there's a lot to take in here. You know, there's been coaches switching out of Ultra. Yep. They brought in these 2 new players. We saw 2 of those players go over to Røkkr. They brought in Afro as well. It's very much a shake-up between these 2 teams. Have always had a friendly rivalry, a rivalry which, for a good portion of it, I would say maybe was Toronto-sided. Obviously, there were some upsets in there along the way, but this is a whole new script, a whole new chance to see what they can do. For Toronto, people are putting them very, very high on their list at the moment, basically based off of Scrappy alone. They think he is the next coming of like Simp or something, and we will have to see.
Yeah, I think, when we talk about one of the most exciting prospects that the CDL has seen, I think he's probably one of the most exciting players, and the expectations are there. I would say they're probably the highest that we've seen in a player on probably 3 or 4 years. I would say literally the highest expectation of a player come from Challenger Simp. I think that's not arguable. I think a lot of people do believe that this guy is going to be the next big thing in the CDL, and well, let's see. I'm a big fan of him. I love his personality that he brings. I kind of like the smack talk, I'm not gonna lie. I love to see that sort of thing. He's just a young kid full of confidence. But for this Ultra team, and we've discussed this in content pieces that we've done beforehand, before we started the league off this week, we talked about this Ultra squad in the risk that is taken. They need to be a championship contending team for this to be worth them doing, because we know that team probably would have got themselves back up to speed. Vanguard was maybe a bit of a blip. It's one of those situations where this team needs to perform and be challenging for championships, or it's not being the right move to make.
Yeah, we are just waiting on a headset to go on, obviously. Andy's just making sure the audio is crisp and clear before they jump in the game. Competitive integrity must be involved, but I think obviously we try not to overshadow the rest of the Ultra team as well. Obviously very kind of established players in their own right. Here's the Røkkr squad though, and here's the crazy thing: mixed feelings from a lot of people about this team. They expect an awful lot out of them, Cammy included. And I remember talking to the talent about this. I was middling on this team because I just don't know where they're going to go. I genuinely don't. I feel like it's not going to be a bad team, but will they have the same capability of maybe like Ultra last year of going towards the top, right? Like for me, it's very much undecided yet. I think this is going to be a difficult game for them. They are the underdogs coming into it, I think, for a lot of people, even though technically they're 1-0 in the league right now. Technically, I will say that again, technically. I don't know. I'm curious to see how they do in this. I think the S&D will be a highlight for them, Tom.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, we've seen a good example of that yesterday, didn't we, with that 6-0. But honestly, I think if you look at this team on paper, of course, Cammy and Bance already in there. You think of Afro instead of Kleenex. That's a nice comparison to make. I think they're both very, very good players. What kind of boots can Afro fill in that instance? And then attach in comparison to Insight. These are all comparable players where you can sort of say, some people have opinion that Attach is better than Insight. Some people have an opinion that Kleenex is better than Afro. Like, there's so many different ways that you can go about discussing this roster and how its makeup does actually work, but ultimately it comes down to how the teams do gel together, how this game works out for them. I mean, year on year we see obviously the game change, and certain players are better at certain games than others, and it's just a kind of one of those risks that you take in the off season when you're making your team. You try and make some assumptions on what you already know and what you think will work well together. I think both teams have got a solid shot within top 6 placements throughout the year. It's interesting though in this matchup. which way it's going to go. Who's the pressure on more, Brycey, at this stage? I'm not too sure, but it's aBeZy hardpoint to kick things off.
It certainly is. Well, one way or the other, we will certainly know who is on top of these two teams. The purple squads going against each other. The battle is the north, as the social media teams like to call it. But for us, it's about benchmarking. Who's playing well, who's not playing well. Røkkr, redemption from yesterday. Ultra, a hot new start into the new season. They certainly want to walk away with a dub to begin with.
Let's see how aBeZy aBeZy hardpoint controls on the mind when it comes down to Røkkr. It has to be said. We'll get there again in map number 3, of course. But here we go into the hardpoint. And aBeZy is one of those ones. It's a little bit more crazy, not quite as structured as some of the other maps when it does come down to hardpoint. It is, of course, going to be Toronto Ultra starting on the better side. Of course, Røkkr can pick up some decent time on P1. That's one thing I want to say was a bit of a standout for me yesterday when we were watching aBeZy. We were kind of presuming that P1 is going to be a little bit mixy, but I remember map number 1. There's some good points being picked up from Boston here over towards P1. Let's see if they can be repeated by the side of the Minnesota Røkkr.
They're just holding off here, just trying to make sure this stays as clear as possible. Standing may try and get a few points, but those spawns have flipped around.
Yep.
You can see at the moment, Røkkr are trying to set up ready for P2. Pressure coming in though from Ultra. They are really giving you as much space as they would like. Insight desperately trying to just peek through. Not able to see anyone quite yet here, and Attach has the better position.
Yeah, Attach well played there. Cammy will now push forward as well. Insight not going to be able to gunfight. It's a really nice rotation coming out the side of Minnesota Røkkr. Good luck, yeah. You can see the kitchen spawn coming in for Ultra, so they're not too far away, but you're running into ARs. And look at the overextension coming in from Bance as well. I absolutely love that. The cross is then being held. Perfect setup from the side of Røkkr. Cammy lines them up. Very well played. Great rotation. Fantastic setup.
Yeah, this is a kind of a remake here for Ultra. Do they try and get a little bit of pressure on? Can they find the gap before just giving it up and going for the rotation? At the moment, Cammy looking, and they just cannot shut him down. Eventually will fall. And that's actually a huge job coming in from Ultra just to shut them off of this hill for a second.
It shuts them up, but then it also gives the spawns for Ultra. Heading over towards News. 20 seconds still left to play for, though. As Ultra will get themselves in. Røkkr, sorry, with the spawns over towards New. Insight trying his best to slow that one down, but spawns coming in over towards the hedges side. That's not too bad of a spot for Insight to be in. He can cut it off there, and that's exactly why Røkkr have went for him and not worried about too much of AC control. Keeping control of top office is so crucial for this point, as it helps you in the rotation over towards the next hill, and you can overwatch if you like towards this hill, this AC hill now. Looks like it's in the control of Røkkr, but Ultra ready and waiting here.
It looks like they're taken down by a trophy system, but there is more problems. They've just never had the bodies, and Attach is trying to hold it against Ultra. They just had too many players reinforcing at one time, and it will flip over to them now as they push further into the league. Afro's going to get 2, but it's still a nightmare to attack up here. He knows there's going to be players waiting for him, but as the nades run in, Phoenix is trying to hold the stairs himself, and Scrap comes in to reinforce him, and Ultra hold on to this.
They've done a good job. Trophy system's just so crucial. We'll see a lot of the time that it can end on that hill if it's a close game. And trophy systems will be down in force. But now, rotation. Heading over towards P4. Insight trying to work the angles down the right-hand side. The spawns a little bit funky when it does come down to this hill. Team's still trying to figure things out completely. You can see, it's already a nice little setup for the side of Røkkr. Can they manage to lock this one down now? This is a jump that we will see constantly. Kleenex now. Heading himself up top. It's a couple of different angles of attack. It's a big gunfight to win as well.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of teams going to the top here. It's basically the way they all like to break this hill. Please trying to do the work up top, but Cammy keeps being a thorn in the side of Ultra. That just sounds weird to say, but now trying to get around the back. You can see stacking coming in from Toronto. We're going to try and hit this as one with 35 seconds left on the clock, but Attach has shut down the back push completely. Ultra do not have the bodies to make this happen.
Attach does shut it down, and the thing is for Ultra there, it's one of those breaks where you push towards the back, you are then going to start spawning Røkkr further towards New, which is coming up in 20 seconds. So the fact they've lost those gunfights, not the end of the world. You chalk it up, you head over towards Laundry. And now let's see what kind of setup's going to come on through for the side of Toronto Ultra. But nice from the Røkkr, a little bit of a lead. And I'm not joking, I think I've maybe mixed the team names up 5 or 6 times already. When it does come down to the players on these rosters, it's going to take a while, Brycey. It will take a while.
Well, this is where you can get time back. When you're on the rotation, when you have it locked in, it's always going to be a hard break. Every single time we go into a hardpoint rotation, it is difficult. Afro maybe the first one through the door, looking for players, hasn't seen anyone yet. Got to check his corners, got to check. There's already been a leg shown from Standy. Players coming through, Trophy's going in for it. Tries to look two different directions, it's not going to happen. Bance trying to go onto the flank, finds a player, but Scrappy is equal to it. Inside takes him down, and there is nothing for Røkkr there.
There's a combined 7 streak coming in from the side of Toronto Ultra now. Looking in some really, really good sign. Couple of kills now starting to come through for Røkkr, though, as they try to break through orange. That's got to be the place that you're trying to make things happen. Hit somebody front laundry at the same time, and you can maybe break on through, but Cleanex play the corners, make it 1, 2, 3 for Cleanex. My goodness me. 3 different directions, 3 different players, all very much dead. Røkkr do find a way into the hill, but that's some good time on the board for the side of Ultra. It's about a 20-point lead. It's a hell of a game so far.
It is very much back and forth. That rotation pops in again. Who will get ahead this time? At the moment, Ultra leading by 21 points as they fight over P1, trying to keep it neutral at the moment before control can be established.
Top bathroom, essential control for Standy and the Ultra side if they want to keep the points to a minimum for the side of Røkkr here over towards P1. But you look at the minimap in your bottom left corner, we are all over the place here. Nobody in any sort of stimulant of control at the moment. It looks that way that Røkkr are going to get the spawns heading over towards P2, and it helps that you find 4 dead. Standy though, a little bit of a spawn over towards hedges. They push maybe a little bit too far towards the kitchen side, and ultimately that is why Toronto Ultra start spawning over towards P2. That is in their control in 30 seconds.
Bance backpedaling there to try and stay alive. In a good position for this as well, but Scrap and Cammy coming against each other, and Scrap will have that
Shots.
easy 2. That top cover disappeared, but they are ready for this push here. Inside, just trying to make sure he holds his angle. He knows where the players are going to be. He knows he needs to win this gunfight, but Afro jumped him down again, and it's still slugging match going on at P2.
Afro finding 2 towards that side. Fantastically well done, but then Ultra just break them back as well. All of a sudden, it's only Cammy left, Brycey.
It certainly is. Well, let's find out how these two teams are dealing with playing with each other. This is a Minnesota Røkkr. Listen in.
Oh yeah, one time inside. B2 on time. B2 hurt. B2 on time. B2 on time.
B2 dash.
Go. Make sure we get near.
I'm playing Scrappy, okay?
Yeah, okay.
They DP. I'm stunned. One is I'm not sure where I died from. Top
right window.
office system. Yeah.
I'm losing right now.
Right, top palm, one pretty sign, and top palm.
Got one left, one
low. Top palm. Yeah, my good.
Off this. Remember, we can just stack.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Already on me, already on me.
Yeah, I'm being pushed. Zig right now. Yeah, close.
One more. Nice. Listen, we're gonna flip.
Okay.
I'll pay you right.
Listen, I'll go hold it. You probably spawn God. You come get time, Toby.
Yeah,
Top of me,
Dad. Nice, no flip.
Look at over I'm too short to you. Yeah, nice.
Go
Zig. Through Zig.
Yeah, I've got Zig. Yeah. I've all left. I watch out middle left. He's going in laundry.
Wait, give me top. Yeah, top on me, Scrap. There's two on the bridge,
man.
Good. Nice, man.
Two on time. That's one on time. Toby gone.
Zig, clean it.
Well, it's a big rotation from Ultra and lots of small talk going on, but they have broken. Toronto have forced their way into AC. And it was a great break from in the end there, Tan. A beautiful bait and switch.
Yeah, really well played. Pushing through top AC. It is going to be Røkkr to get it back, but then the rotation then becomes a little bit up in the air. Fights going on towards back embassy. Afro, what can he do? Trying to find some kills, not going to happen. It's looking like Ultra are going to have control of the next hill as well, and it's a decent chunk of a lead for them. It can flip very quickly, though, when it does come down to it. Ultra definitely in the ascendancy when it does come down to those kills. And the man that we talked about at the top is shows Scrap. Right at the tippity top. Ultra now in control, but look at this pressure from Røkkr. It's coming in from up top and down low.
They've got to find some kills, and Scrap isn't giving them any of them. 5 straight for himself as now. Inside takes down another one. And maybe Røkkr are starting to feel the pressure. They cannot get near this hill. And that's the issue with rotations. You have to be there first. Is there any sliver of hope here for Minnesota?
Oh my god, that's 6.
And Scrappy, well, he's shutting it down in every single way. I'm trying to figure out if that tick is just about off, I think. But, I mean, he's 27 and 18.
Here we go, Røkkr. Oh, they will manage to get a touch there, so I don't think that Ultra can win here. So this game becomes then somewhat a little bit doable because you have to push. You give the spawns to Ultra towards New, and Cleanex is already ready and waiting into mid alley. There's another 2. We've seen what he did on this hill last time. It's 10 seconds away from Ultra for finding the lead here, Bryce.
They're going to hit it in force. Røkkr have bodies, but do they have the gun? Already finds one. Afro jumps in, but it's gunned down. It's now just going to be standing left. He sees Cammy, but Cammy guns him out as well. And Røkkr break in with not a second to spare. And Scrap's coming straight in for this one. He's not even worrying. His teammates are going to come in just a second, but already the kills are going against him. Attach a man on a mission and a man who gets gunned. Afro finds 2, though. They're still alive. But Kinnick finds 1, and that's all they need. Toronto Ultra shut it down in the end. And they look like the stronger team for the majority of that game.
Oh, Scrappy's getting hyped already. And it's a marquee game from him. And his first in the CDL of the Modern Warfare 2 season. And ultimately, I think it kind of comes down to that second rotation round towards AC. Ultra pushed it and found that break when Røkkr had a nice setup. And Røkkr kind of choked it just a little bit. They pushed towards it for a second time and give Ultra the spawns over towards New. So maybe a bit too much of aggression. I would have to watch it back from the side of Røkkr to try and retake that AC. And it kind of messed them up heading back over towards Office. But what a game out of Scrappy, leading the damage by some way at 3,100. The non-traded kill the highest, 31 and 21. A dominant performance from him and a comfortable victory in the end for the Toronto Ultra.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing, right? Essentially, when it comes down to it, this is more or less what we were expecting, Ton, right? We thought maybe on the respawns, Ultra would have the better time. Scrap comes into the league already doing exactly what he promised to do. Dominate every single step of the way. They just weren't able to get the kills, Røkkr, in the position they wanted to. And when they started losing those rotations, that's when it becomes really difficult. I know it's kind of a hard thing for people to realize, but you aren't going to have a good KD if you are rotating late or rotating second to these hard points. Yeah. You are very rarely going to be able to just gun, break, and trade effectively if you are not in the position you need to be. And this was Scrap's playground.
Yeah, we talked about it yesterday. I mean, what was that, 8? Did he break 9 in the end? Not quite. He's the one that baits in for that final kill. Afro finds 2. It's not good enough, though. CleanX cooking up in kitchen, gets the job done for Toronto Ultra. We talked about yesterday, though, you know, it has come down to it in multiple occasions already. We've seen hardpoint that the KD doesn't matter quite as much in this game, but when you are finding the important kills, and so many of them, if you're Scrappy in that situation, that gives your team that extra advantage. It's about an 80-point win in the end for the side of Toronto Ultra. But it has to be said, yesterday, let's not count Røkkr out whatsoever. Their search and destroy looked sublime, but I'd imagine that Ultra is going to have a pretty strong game as well. So this should be a really good search, but a great way to kick things off. I think, you know, as far as those rotations to go, it was the last couple of hills that really Ultra started to extend. It was a pretty close game up until that stage. So well played from them towards the end of that game. And I really want to highlight that CleanX play as well over towards the kitchen side. That was absurd. Fantastic play from him.
Yeah, and it's kind of things like that where they're just able to pick up 3 or 4 kills in a row, and Røkkr didn't really have an answer for it. Things like they got that early rotation away. See, that was maybe the pinnacle of the game for me. If they had held that down, brought them back into contest just a little bit. But even with the small talk, we heard the listening from Røkkr there. They were losing more gunfights than they needed to. And once you start losing those gunfights, unfortunately, positioning isn't going to help you out if you don't win. So if you're dead, you can't basically hold anything. And I think it slowly but surely got away from them. I think that's the way you can say that game, right? Like, yeah. Essentially, Røkkr were doing some of it right, but then losing key gunfights and then the late rotation. It become worse and worse, essentially, as the hard point went on.
Yeah, it definitely felt like Ultra on both rotations, actually. AC and then into Office and then over towards Kitchen. That's kind of where their bread was buttered, if you like. That's pretty much where they dominated for the most part. They picked up the most of their points there. And then if you're Røkkr in that sort of situation, you then need to look at your own game, sort of say to yourself, right, okay, we need to fix that for next time around. But an aBeZy hardpoint did not disappoint. And now their minds will be focused on search and destroy. But as said yesterday, Røkkr looked sensational in that search up against OpTic. Can they do the same here again against Ultra? I don't know. I mean, we talk about search and destroy. You have to talk about insight. 1.1 over the search and destroy in Vanguard last year. 18 different clutches, 9 1v1s, 6 1v2s, and 3 1v3s. The guy is an absolute god when it comes down to these unfavorable situations in the search and destroy, and I'm sure he'd like to find a couple of those against a couple of former teammates as well. Should be an interesting one, especially when it comes down to Hotel as well. Plays a little bit different to what we've seen from Røkkr playing on Fortress yesterday, of course. So very intrigued to see how this one does break down. I feel like Røkkr are definitely a team that's going to look towards that hard point, and it could potentially be their weakest mode. Search and destroy and control is maybe where it's going to continue that Toronto Ultra mold from last year, but the Toronto Ultra of now very much looking like a strong hard point team.
Yeah, I also think it's starting to test Røkkr's mental game. You got to remember, coming into this game, obviously the interesting things that happened yesterday, but it's also their rivalry. They're playing against their ex-teammates. They want to win. They want something positive to come out of this one, and they are going to be tested. This S&D could make or break this Røkkr team in this series. If they don't get this one, they'll be very, very firmly on the back foot, down 2-0 against this team. They need an uptick, and obviously we know that confidence on Ultra is at an all-time high.
Apologies, it was a Røkkr who played at aBeZy Search and Destroy yesterday, not Fortress. We've seen Forest a couple of times at the price. Honestly, I was just kind of twisted all day yesterday. Here we are, though. Clean next to hit over towards B. Cammy ready and win 1-2. Oh my goodness, they dropped so fast. Standy's there for the trade, but nonetheless, it looks like Røkkr are ready and waiting here. But inside, big gunfight win 2v2.
Backing up for this one. Afro and Bance. Around the back for the first kill, and Bance catches insight. COD timing there for it, but it is standing in a 1 versus 2. Bomb is not down. He's trying to figure out exactly where they're coming from. Afro and Bance playing this very, very patiently. Neither side willing to even blink.
And this is the thing. Standy's got to be the one to plant the bomb. He's the one that has to do something, and then all of a sudden, it's going to be like fish in a barrel. It's a very small room. 4 different exits, though. 50-50 chance of getting out the right way, and not going to happen this time. He's going to choose to stay tight here, Bryce.
Standy by name. Lay by nature. Here comes Bance, and he's going to get that first kill. Is he huge kill for it? But no! Afro is there for the trade. Teamwork pays out in the end. Afro? Oh, he's just running out. He's dead silence, I think. But no, they managed to get that one done there in the end. And the timing was just good enough. They made sure they hit those doors at the same time. You can't shoot 2 directions in COD.
Yeah. Always the advantageous situation there for this side of Røkkr. And they've just played that one well. There's no need for them to go into challenge. They know Standy is in there. They know 2 players were in and around kitchen. There is no point in making that push because, I mean, look, you already know the amount of advantageous positions that Standy could be ready and waiting, but he can't watch 2 directions at once. Afro coming in and cleaning up the kill. Standy, I was quite surprised to see him sit inside, but in the end, doesn't work out. Nonetheless, I like the aggression coming out from the side of Toronto Ultra. Doesn't pay off this time, though.
Very aggressive already. Afro's running straight out, but it will be first blood, and there are players diving out of this one. Blake's trying to stay alive. Cammy's going to go for the chow. He fires the first. He knows a second tier as well. Eventually going to try and reposition, but he reloads at the wrong time, and he gets cleaned up. And now Afro, left alone in a 1 versus 3. Aggressive start has not paid out for Røkkr. And now he's pretty much left with very little hope.
But the side of Røkkr there. It's a hit towards A, try and get bedroom control, but if you lose mid, you lose couches, and lose your gunfights there. Never going to work out. So Afro now. Trying to prevent the first round of Search and Destroy that Røkkr have lost all season with a 1 versus 3. And you can see already, Ultra, they're so spread out, they're not really willing to give him an inch of the map, but they have given up A still. They're happy to go for a retake if they need to. Afro searching around. 25 seconds to go. Now you can see Ultra starting to make their moves.
One gun through, and he's not even going to win that first gunfight. Scrapped is all right. I'm ready. I'm waiting for it. Didn't commit the dead silence, so at least Afro will have that for the next round.
Just peeking around. Checks the bomb. Gets the shots. Headshot multiply working out nicely for Scrappy there. Well played from the side of Ultra, though. Just slow and steady. None of this getting too aggressive or getting overzealous. It's very well played. Make the pushes where they need to. The aggression from Røkkr, though, is really what sets them up to fail in the initial. You need to win those couple of gunfights. But as I said, it just felt like a little bit too easy for the Røkkr boys to be picked off in mid-map. Now Scrap heading over towards it. Ultra attacking.
Has to back off a little bit. Bance gets that first blood on the Kleenex. And Sandy and Attach about to come against each other, but this time it will be Attach who wins it. A 2 versus 4. Scrap trying to see if he can find anything there. Eventually gets out of it. And Bance takes out the inside. Scrap for a 1 versus 4 potentially on the cards. But it is not the easiest to do, Ton.
No. Popping his dead silence for it. And it's a constant fight over couches and mid that is really dictating which way these rounds are going. Cammy will spot him though, and it's a very, very clean round for the side of Røkkr. First couple of gunfights go their way over towards the B side. And then again, it's that mid control. You can stick a twist over towards either A or B if you need to. And ultimately, both attacking teams, when they are making that push over towards B, you need that bedroom control. I think if Tatch doesn't win that gunfight, we've got a very, very different round there. Yeah, gunfight to win finds it, and then ultimately the round.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, especially with how this game works out. As soon as you have numerical disadvantage, there's a lot of corners to check, so it makes trading very, very difficult. So if you're already at a number disadvantage, it means that you probably aren't going to be able to turn that around very easily unless you get very, very lucky.
Oh, here we go. Oh, that stun check as well. And Ultra just chooses to back down. I like that. Standy with the angle as well. Shots have gone in. They've got plenty of info here. But looking at Røkkr, that's not where the bomb is going. So is this a bit of a bait from the Minnesota side?
Well, could start making a lot of noise here, Afro. Trying to see if we can get anybody away from it, but there is going to be a kill go down. And it has been traded back down to a 3 versus 3. It was Bance who got first blood, but fortunately a teammate was there to clean it up for Ultra. Keep an eye on Scrappy. He's been just ridiculous here at top bedroom before.
Keep an eye on
Bomb's
Afro
going
as
down.
well.
He's going to snap as soon as this goes on. He's going to know.
Afro in the position in mid-map. He's the one catching the stragglers coming over from their bait over towards that side, but Scrap will find the first gunfight over here. Now a 2 versus 3. Oh, and inside finds Afro. That's absolutely massive. That was the potential ace in the hole for this side of Røkkr. My goodness, they are dead so fast.
Oh, nothing but a clinical retake there in the end.
Honestly, I thought that looked really nice for the side of Røkkr. I love the setup. You lose the first gunfight over towards the site, though, and still you've got Afro in a brilliant position to do something, and, well, he just gets caught napping, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, Røkkr were in a good couple of corners, and they were hoping to try and get at least a kill out of it, but
well, that's it.
Just found nothing. And if you don't find a kill, then obviously you don't win the round. Not a lot of finessing to be done.
Into the next round we go, though, and man, this Ultra team are looking very, very nice. No surprise, though. I said seeing Insight and Standy on the same team, that there's some S&D pedigree for you right there. 2-2, though. Very close game, but a couple of situations that you wouldn't have expected to go Ultra's way have done. Back to it. Another hit over towards A. First gunfight is going to go the way of Ultra, though, and Bance goes down.
Being very, very cautious here. Afro wants somebody to just give him an opportunity. As both players and both teams take a bit of a break from the action. Oh, he's in a little bit of trouble, and he's going to get cleaned up. Tatch goes down as well. Huge numerical advantage now to Toronto. They're going for this one. Afro may be able to do something. I don't know if he's going to have the angle there. He won't see it that side. He might catch Kleenex on the out. No, he's going to catch him before he plants. Down to a 2 versus 3. Bomb down onto A side. Cammy gets another one. Røkkr have flipped this around. Scrap's going to go for him. Inside takes down Cammy. Afro now for a 1 versus 2.
Oh, he's going to check it as well. There's another one from Afro. A 1 versus 2 into a 1 versus 1. And it is the clutch master himself when it comes down to it. An insight. Dead silence pop. This is doable. 20 seconds. Got to move.
All the way around. Does not have bomb. Afro knows it's been there twice now. Will he figure this one out? He's got to surely check bottom. He's going to jump it. Afro's going to come against him, and he's going it inside. Oh, he knew. He had to check that corner. Comes flying in. And Afro lying down is good, but sometimes you just can't swing the gun fast enough.
Oh, and he stood up at just the wrong time. Oh, my God. Oh, it's those sort of kind of things you don't get to see from the third person, but oh my goodness, that has got to be tough. I think if he lies down, he probably wins that gunfight, as he doesn't catch the first couple of bullets there. Just when it comes down to the centering coming around the corner, I mean, Insight would have hit the bullets eventually, but that gunfight could have been very different. It was just a second, maybe even a millisecond more patient. Røkkr now heading over towards A. It's been fast and frantic over towards this side. First bloods have been influential. 3 in that round from Insight. Røkkr now over towards their side.
That's going to go for it. Standy is the player here. He's going to try and catch him on the out. Already a player through, though. Bance backs off. Standy has seen nothing. Afro versus Scrap, but it will be Afro this time around. First blood, second blood as well, going in for Minnesota. Afro just trying to stay his life here, but Standy managed to get one back, but they are on the back foot here, Toronto.
Afro is once again the problem inside the bedroom. They need to get rid of him. Oh my goodness, Insight. Mixing it 2 versus 2 now. Good shots coming in over towards Insight. Gotta get out, gotta get out. Coming towards the back as well. This is doable.
It is not a lot of time here.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Røkkr will switch lives for time. That's what they're going for. Standy. Standy for 2.
Did he get on it? Did he get on it?
I think he did. I don't know. No! Oh, the time! It's just enough. Standy gets 2, but nobody defusing. And that's what they did. They traded lives for time. It works out for Røkkr.
Oh, that's close. That's gotta be close. And it's one of those situations, though, that Standy goes for the chance, but they don't know where the second player is, so we can always sort of say to ourselves, well, why is Insight not on the bomb? But one of you has got to get on the bomb. He just doesn't get on it quick enough. He does the hard work. But Insight not on the bomb in quick enough time. And they left it really until the final few seconds and left it just a little bit too late. 3-3. What a game of Search this has been.
It has both of these two teams really pulling out all of the stops. A little bit different here now. You can see Ultra trying to make a move and almost gets caught, and Scrap tries to get Bance, but Bance is just running. Shows him a clean pair of heels, but Cammy gets that first blood.
Oh, they know where he is.
Goes for the trade here, says, hey, quick you now, eventually Bance. And it comes down to a 2 versus 2 as trades continue to ricochet over that kill feed.
Cammy does really, really well to find 2 there. As soon as Scrap pushes in the kitchen, they know he's in pantry, so they can just collapse. They collapse, but he finds one before he goes down. 2 in the round for him to make it a 2 versus 2. And that saved Røkkr their blushes on this round, at least. Touch just taking his time towards the back. No need, again, like the sort of situation we've seen in round number 1, where Ultra didn't need to make their move. Røkkr don't this time. But if I'm Afro, am I hearing that? Yes, I am. Information gained. Now watching the cross, 30 seconds to go. Still a lot to do here for the side of Ultra, and Afro's making the play.
Dead silence. He wants to check the bomb. He wants to see if he can see, and he does. He catches him as well. It comes down to a 1 versus 1, and I think Afro is just backing off just in case. It will be Scrap who has to make this move. Afro hasn't seen him. Will he check the bomb at 7.5, or is he going to wait it out till he gets planted? I think he's waiting it out. He is. Doesn't know where he's gone. Sees him eventually. Afro knows where Scrap is. Scrap does not know, but Scrap gets the first bullets on. He's already ahead. Trying to get away from this. Stun's going down as well. It's a 1v1. They're still dipping, dodging.
It's a great grenade.
Weaving. And who's going to win this gunfight? Scrap keeps dancing around Afro. Who wins the gunfight in the end? One of the most stressful 1v1s you've seen so far. What was that?
Wonderful, wonderful play from both of them, but Afro just gets that angle. And it was honestly, you know, Scrap does well to get the bomb down. I mean, it's all he can do. Afro playing patiently, but Afro's the one that's made the play. Back and forth we go. Oh, the fact that Scrap's got a Vaznev there. I think if it's an M4 versus an M4, it's a fair fight. But the fact that he has the Vaznev, Afro always in that advantageous position there. 4-3 Røkkr. What a game this has been. Keep this one up.
Let's just play this to 25 or something. Don't worry about the rest of the series. Let's just keep going. At the moment, though, you can see it looked like a potential push coming in from Røkkr. They've backed off. It will be Ultra with complete control.
Maybe some sound cues that Røkkr just got there to sort of say, yeah, maybe not. Let's not try this one. Peek at the door is there. The Afro says, yeah, well, let's try my luck. A couple of shots coming on through. But now for the side of Røkkr, because you've taken your time, Ultra with complete map control. Scrap will find a kill from top bedroom. So a presumed rotation over towards that A side is maybe what Ultra are thinking of here. But happy they just sit tight here, Brycey.
Yeah, that's the problem. You are right. So much of this map control has been ceded. Røkkr don't really know where to go, and it's that issue of there could be anybody in any corner. I won't get the good trade. Bomb now goes down into mid, and Afro gets a long-range transfer. Almost gets a second, but it's not enough. He could have done with that with 28 seconds left to go. Horrible position here if you're Røkkr, but he dives straight out of it. Afro does not care. Now he's going to go for the bomb as well. Picks it up. Can he get out of it before he gets caught? No, the player eventually finds him. 17 seconds. Cammy's alone.
I love that play from Kleenex. Knows to just overextend, put himself in a position that you just won't expect. Cammy not going to find a clean exo 2 towards the end. Very, very well played from both teams. Afro with the ultimate aggression, something we've just come to expect from him. And Cammy, it's always a difficult position. Clean X ready and waiting, knows where the bomb is, plays his life around it. It's another round over towards the side of Ultra. Again, it's just been a fantastic search and destroy. It's coming down to finite moments between these two teams. But this one is really needed for the side of Røkkr. 4-4. You know what it stinks of. It stinks of around 11. I can smell it from here.
Just coming in both sides. That is a huge dive across the room.
Afro
Scrap tries to get the trade. Afro gets the first one, though, and they're caught out a little bit. That was very aggressive from them. Afro wants to back off here.
It's the info in from Attacher top bedroom. As soon as they all paid attention over that side, Afro says thank you very much, finds one, and there's insight as well. 10 and 5 from him. It's a 4v2 now for the side of Ultra. Scrap will find one, though, making this one a little bit doable, and Scrap in an interesting position as well. Kleenex a little bit more passive.
Scrap is looking to just take any gunfight he can. Cammy gets one back, though. Scrap in a 1 versus 3. Finds attached down to a 1 versus 2. He's still hunting. He's still looking for these players, but Afro is ready with a pre-aim. And Afro has been putting in a shift. Has not taken a single step back in his S&D. Keeps being the difference.
I think that's 3 kills in the round there from Afro. Opens up with first blood, as said, attached up top. Kind of just draws Ultra in, if you like. And Afro, down from bottom, lights, pops the door up and finds an easy kill, sits back, expects the angle to come, finds insight, and then the final kill with the trade onto Scrap. It's a big ground from him. Minnesota now. Map point. It's Toronto Ultra on the defense. This one's been so back and forth, though. That's a big stun.
Already been stunned.
That's a lot of info for the side of Røkkr here.
Cammy first blood. Looks for the second on the standing and gets it. 2 versus 4 now for Ultra to try and hold on in this S&D.
Scrap is in an interesting position here. I'm just curious at how patient he could potentially be here. Are they going to expect it? Shots into top bedroom, will find one. Can the trade come on through? Bance with plenty of shots taken, but fires some back. It's a 1 versus 3 for Insight.
Insight, we haven't seen him close this year yet, but he finds the first, is not going to find the second. Not able to finish his dinner on that first kill, and that will be Røkkr, who walk away with the win on the S&D, bringing this back to 1-1. But it was not easy, and it was not clean.
As build, this one has been exciting. But Røkkr just extend towards the end there. Røkkr, fantastically done. Afro with a huge couple of rounds, it has to be said. That moment in the 1v1 against Scrappy, and then in the next round, finding 3 all on his own. And the scoreboard tells that story as well. 11 and 5 out of him. Looking towards the first blood. Dominant from the side of Røkkr there, it has to be said. Ultra still kind of holding on. Even with only 3 to their name out of the 10. So some situations, that's one of those though, Bryce, you kind of like, if you're finding more first bloods, you're so much closer in that game. The fact you were able to find 4 rounds even that far down is tippable towards the Ultra side, but not quite enough.
Well, we'll have to see how it all plays out for these. We know Control is going to be next, but that map and everything that comes with it will have to wait. We're going to a quick break. We'll be right back with the Call of Duty League. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you right after this.
Upgrade your game with a Scump, the official controller of the Call of Duty League.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Call of Duty League. If you are just tuning in, we are watching Ultra versus Røkkr. But I'll tell you something interesting. A little bit of a home watch party going on for Ultra. They actually have a small crowd watching them live at their venue in Toronto. So not only do they get the experience of playing every other team, they get that LAN experience, they get the hype, the momentum. And I love that. I love the crowd and the fans being involved every single step of the way.
I've got a big smile on my face. I absolutely love to see that. That is a really, really good idea from the side of Ultra to invite the fans in to watch the team live as well. What a great opportunity for those guys. And of course, we'll be in Toronto in May. I'm excited for that because I didn't get to go last time, Brycey. And you heard you all had a wonderful time. Went for sushi all the time together. And I was sat at home with COVID, mate. So it wasn't really fair. If you
well, we didn't miss you, but what we did miss was the hardpoint S&D in this game. If you are just joining us or wondering what is going on, at the moment, Toronto Ultra had a very good game on the hardpoint. They took that away, and then Røkkr managed to strike back on the S&D. So it's all tied up 1-1. Going into the control, though, it could be anyone's game, and let's hope for a full control that plays out perfectly fine today.
Yes, no issues today, please. Thank you very much. LSELO control, back to the scene of the crime we go. And yeah, look, I mean, it has to be said for the most part that Røkkr looked fairly solid on this one. It was just one smoke collapse towards the end that then obviously whatever played out, they still put themselves in a bad situation. It was looking likely that OpTic would go on to win that. Whatever happens, we know that Ultra have looked at that Røkkr game and have said there maybe is some weaknesses here. So it's an interesting one. We still obviously haven't seen Ultra on this map whatsoever. So let's see how this one does play out. But Scrap with a great start to his proper CDL career. We can count the game last season, of course, but this is his fully fledged first team starter game and having a hell of a time so far.
Oh, at the moment, Bance is going to open up proceedings. Afro going to come through the door, and Kleenex is already waiting for him. Oh my goodness, somehow Afro stayed alive and got away. Surely Kleenex is eventually going to catch him. He's still running around. Afro! Just dancing around the map at the moment. Toronto's starting to get progress over towards A, though.
He's going to have to do something about this one player that is on the point, but attached is there to back things up. Of course, it is the one you try and get a hold of first if you're on this attacking side. Tick's already enough for the side of Ultra. Spawn's coming in very, very close as well. Afro trying to do his best to find a couple where he can. Kleenex will, of course, tidy that one up and moving over towards A now, coming on through. You can see the spawns over towards field side. Has to be said, though, Røkkr controlling this relatively well so far. Bance staying alive here as well over towards the top side. Not a bad spot to be in.
Has been stun checked, though. They're going to know he's here, so he backs up. They're just trying to stay alive and basically cause as many issues for Ultra as they can. They know A is slowly going away. Plays on it. Cammy gets one more kill, and the rest of them are going to start swinging in. Røkkr are actually giving this up. They're going to play for lives on the out then.
Yep, no, that's fine. Happy to give this one. Of course, we know that B is the more difficult, and it's a 2v2 even trade. As we head out into the next foray over towards B. A minute and a half to go now. The side of Røkkr to defend. Ultra with some decent control here. Making sure not to let anybody push up towards green, making your life a little bit more difficult. You've got to worry about players flanking in behind. If anything, you're in the position that's going to cause issues over towards the top kitchen side. Insight will eventually fall, but has that allowed Ultra to infiltrate where they need to? Kleenex in a good position. Here we go.
Flying, looks for attach as well, not able to get it. The M4 will win that one. Give it that minimap. Afro's in a really good position, but he's going to get gunned down before he can make his way further up. Ultra are going to try and stack this now and force their way back up this map. They don't really have the control to go rushing in. 48 seconds left. They're going to split around. They're going to look for this first kill before they make a move.
Yeah, they don't have to rush anything here. They'll have this and another little dig at it. Stanley will find one on this Cammy though, and does that maybe just start the cogs are turning on the side of Toronto Ultra inside now. Røkkr's control potentially on the cards, but going to head up top just to give a little bit of cover. Because they were getting on 2B to just stop this timer.
Eventually going to get through it as well, but Bance gets worse kill. Capture's going down. Cammy's another one. Insight just going to trade back, and it's a long-range gunfight. Only Insight is going to be left alive here. 15 seconds left to go. He needs to stay alive. The rest of his team will reinforce me if he can, but down they go, and it may now be a step too far for Ultra.
No, takes over towards B, so a win for the side of Røkkr there. They will happily take that one. The kills flying in their way as well. Good run for Røkkr. Good defensive work. Always just have somebody in there and winning crucial gunfights at the right time.
And that's what makes it so difficult. You thought with 48 seconds left to go and 4 players up, if they could just find a couple of kills, but as soon as you don't, you essentially have to start playing your life and try to figure out if you can get the other team maybe go for respawn. It is a difficult prospect at all times. But a defense down, it now flips over to Ultra to have their chance to bring it back to 1-1.
Attacking right now for the side of Røkkr. Also just setting up across the map here. We can see just a little bit of control, expecting some aggression outside of Ultra, and you're going to get it. But a bad time for Bance and Afro as Stanley jumps around and finds the easiest 2-piece of his life. But Cammy will enter back, but a little bit of pressure now coming in from Ultra. Røkkr going to have to slowly and methodically fight their way out of this one.
Cammy looking for any kills he can find, checking every single nook and crevice. Bance finds one, but they're still just trading around the middle of this map. Røkkr look a little bit unsure. They don't know where these players are.
Yeah, it feels
where they are, though.
Well, yeah, it feels like Ultra are really playing this quite smart. They're just putting players in positions that you wouldn't necessarily expect. Scrap will find 3 deaths on support from Cammy. He's going to be dead as well. Really solid defensive hold so far from Ultra. And only 30 seconds remaining here for Røkkr, and they need to at least get 3 ticks. Whether that be over towards A or B doesn't really matter. Just to keep things even, you want a hold of that defense if you possibly can around number 5. Touch. Now starting to make the move here. Cammy will help him out. The kill onto Insight. Potential opportunity here over towards A for the side of Røkkr.
Get straight into it as well, but they look for attach. Finds 2, and that could be an issue for him. Next has 2 as well. Attach still going to be under pressure. He knows players are all around him. He exposes himself a little bit too much. And he's going to go down. Insight finds him. Reinforcements flooding in from Røkkr. They need to find something here. Afro jumps straight in where he knows he is. Bounces across Insight's screen.
Oh, big gunfight. Attach wins one off the respawn to stop the player flanking around. So no pinch is going to be developed here. Afro's going to catch Scrap as well with the aggression. And try and get it from the jaws of defeat here if you're Røkkr. You managed to find a couple of gunfights. Managed to find something over towards A. Afro goes with the challenge. Cammy is there as well. 10 seconds to go. They've cleared them off though. His Insight will find 2. 7 seconds. It's a foot race. And I don't know if Røkkr have got it in them.
Ultra just won every single gunfight they needed to there at the end. And Insight just posted up, ready to gun. And they shut them down. Just 2 ticks there in the end for Røkkr. Ultra just looked better at it in the end. They had more control. Røkkr looked a little bit lost towards the first beginning of that. They just couldn't find where the engagements were going on.
Yeah, Ultra just played that smart game. There's so many different positions that you can sit in on this map. Just make awkward little angles. Sit in positions you know players have to pass to head over towards those control points. With Scrappy, you found 3. Completely shut down an aggressive Røkkr attack over towards the A side all on his own. Does make a difference. Insight sitting 11 and 6 though. He finds those crucial kills towards the end of the round. Now Røkkr's turn to defend, but has to be said, that is a tick advantage over towards the side. Toronto Ultra now. Cammy will find 2 to open things up though. Standy answers back in kind with the kill on the Bance.
Just a little bit of a shoulder there for Cammy. I'm going to find it. Insight is trying to shoot 6 different directions at once. It is going to work out for him at the moment. Ultra. That's actually a big nade from Scrap because it opens this up just a little bit. They're trying to get some map control coming back for it. Attach and Scrap will probably see each other in the next few seconds when Scrap makes a move. I don't think he saw him. I don't think he did. Scrap is going to be behind Attach here. It doesn't matter. He actually gets taken down anyway. And now he's on Overwatch.
great position for him to be in.
Kills means that Ultra can get in.
Yep, Ultra now need to know that they just need to clean up from the inside. Pushing from kitchens or lockers is pretty much where it's going to come from. And KiSMET in a prime position here. What's the move now for Røkkr, apart from just getting wiped out? It's a really good setup, but it's coming from behind, finds two, and breaks that setup wide open. All of a sudden, Scrap and Standy have got some work to do just to get back inside of it. 30 seconds left to go here. Only one tick over towards the A site.
We're going to try and get a bit of a flank going here, but I think they're going to know. Find Standy, but not enough to actually put him down, and down he goes to Insight. It's so many bodies here for Ultra that A is definitely gone. And now over to B again. Couldn't get it last time around. Ultra will be trying to make the difference now. But look at the bodies pile through. Attach is coming under pressure, but they both end up just jumping into each other. And only KiSMET is going to be left alive by B.
Have they found him though? KiSMET around the back. He's going to be the potential. Oh, it's Cammy going to win the gunfight. Insight will trade it, but not from a position where they can do much about it. And I love this pressure coming in from Røkkr. Happy for the push to come over towards B. If you can just hold down up top. Afro now in a good spot. Got a little bit of backup here as well, but Ultra have time to take their time. There's no need to unnecessarily, I should say, run into gunfights here. Afro getting a little bit overzealous. Ultra ready to wait. Now they can push forward.
Just cleaning up the map a little bit, Ton. KiSMET with another kill onto Cammy. Attach may be the key player here. If he can pick up a couple of them, just relieve the pressure onto his teammates. KiSMET knows where Afro is going to be as well. Attaches up top. He finds the first one. KiSMET now has to look two different directions. He knows there's players coming behind him. Afro's going to take him down. Afro takes down a second. And Attach actually guns Afro in the end, but it is going to be a deflection. It's just enough from Attach to push this back.
Ultra trying to get some mid-map control. Standy, it's a big gunfight. Cammy falls. And all of a sudden, this is now doable for the side of Røkkr. One tick in here. The tick's very much in their side. Whatever happens here. Well, a little bit of purchase over towards B. And if you're Røkkr, this is now a hard push.
Well, there's that second tick. Here comes the third.
Gotta go.
Nades are going to rain in, but the trophies are already down. He's looking for it as well. Sandy's on 1 health point. They're jumping in as contested in the last second, but Scratch gets a 2-piece. And that's going to be it. They get the attacking round. And they are not happy. Røkkr thought they might be able to hold it, but Ultra now have a defense. They have the advantage in this game.
Wonderfully played in the end from Ultra. And honestly, I feel like Røkkr, and specifically going back to Afro pushing up top, maybe looking for kills a little bit too much there. You're in a situation where you're pushed far up the map. The players are starting to go past, and I think it's easy for us to maybe say this at times when we know where all the players are, but it was unnecessary for him to really start checking that. That was when things did start to mix around, but that is defense confirmed for the side of Ultra. No matter what happens here, even if Røkkr can find the round, they will be on the attacking side again once more.
They need to make this count first. The next is going to be a problem up top. They know he's going to look for those players at pallets. He's already seen Bance trying to go for the fight as well, and Bance isn't going to be able to get away. Well, let's move faster than feet. Physics lesson there for you, and Sandy's also going to catch Afro. Dead silence popped. It's going to cause more of an issue himself. And at the moment, Ultra haven't really found anything. Sorry, Røkkr haven't found anything.
It's a very easy mistake to make, man. I think we're going to do it all season. I don't think we'll be the only ones either.
Oh, easy clean up for KiSMET.
Shots. I mean, some of these gunfights do not last a long time. Push over towards A though. It's got to be the player here, or has it, for the side of Røkkr. It's a little bit of a bait as Afro finds another 2. Afro now finding a 3rd. That's 6 in a row. And then all of a sudden, you look at where Ultra are spawning, and it has to be something done from Standy just to ease that pressure. He's now dead, and also spawning in Narnia, but it's a big gunfight win from inside. But is the damage already done over towards this B site?
Well, I think they're probably going to be able to stop it. There are just so many Ultra players about to hit this, but Attach finds 2. I say that Attach finds them all, and Bance much is pre-fired for this door. Doesn't matter. Scrap will take him down, but that is B point secured.
He's secured. I said defensive side is still going to go over towards the side of Toronto Ultra. Whatever happens here, may well be a Røkkr win on the attack. Bance now getting aggressive. Insight has and got it clue. Dead silence. Thank you very much. See you later. And Bance now in the Overwatch position.
is going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult here for Ultra to do anything, but they find the first kill. Bance locked in, ready for it. Looking for these players who are going to play at the same time, and they can't do the Afros alone. Bance eventually finds one, but it will be Afro who goes down. Cammy is not able to support his teammates. Eventually will find one of the pallets, but Attach hits him with a grenade. And it's now all reset for Minnesota. They have to try and start this again.
But it's a bit of a fight for mid-map control, a bit of a fight for control in general as Attach puts the bullets in inside just enough, but not enough to kill him back from the other side of things. I think it's Scrappy trying to put them down. Cammy will find Kleenex, Afro will find Standy. It's feeling like a rock around. My goodness, Afro, it doesn't matter what gun you put in his hands. And out for the side of Ultra, you're going to spawn absolutely miles away. That A-Tech is coming in.
A little bit maybe too aggressive there coming in from Afro, but Attach finds two again. And that tick is slowly but surely going through, and it has! We're going to a round 5. Ultra will have defense. They locked it in before with the ticks. But it has been back-to-back offense rounds. And I don't know who's walking away.
It's difficult, isn't it? Because if anything, you know, Ultra just looks so solid all the way through. Never looked like even threatening if you're Røkkr on the attacking round. And all of a sudden, when you need to get it done, you force the round number 5. Ultra, though, as said, will be on the more beneficial side on defensive. Or defense, as a normal person who speaks English would say.
Well, both teams have done it. They've both won the attacking rounds. But for Røkkr, you have to do it again. Find the player straight there, and Attach ends up winning that one. Saves Afro's life. A few kills already going down. The catalyst for them last time was getting B early. It looks like they might be setting up for it again. Bance finds one. He's down the bottom of the cliff, though. Kleenex gets the trade. Afro has just happen. Outrageous.
You can't let this happen again if you're the side of Ultra. Afro is an absolute reaper at the moment. Eventually, they will clear them out towards B, so lightning doesn't strike twice. Now the push over towards A. A little bit more standard from the side of Røkkr. Kleenex ready and waiting, and some good mid-map control. Standy, Kleenex inside, all combining well. That's the first time that I think we've seen 3 down from the side of Røkkr in quite some time. It always feels like the kill feed is going their way, but this is more like it now. Ultra in a really good spot. 34 seconds to go.
Yeah, welcome to the blender. Essentially, Minnesota have to make all of the moves here.
Bance is
they don't have the opportunity to sit back. A player has slipped the net. It will be Bance. I think they know. You can see on the minimap, the players keep looking behind them, but there's just no time.
I'm wondering if he's just going to jump onto A to make them have to turn around, but Afro will get things moving as Attach will find a second. It's the push over towards A. That's now going to start coming in, but this has to be perfect from the side of Røkkr.
That's just staying alive. Needs reinforcements. 11.9 seconds. They really won't get another chance of this, but Attach is on Overwatch. Those players want to come to the door. They want to chow this. The second tick is coming in. Reinforcements for Ultra are here as well.
But if you're Ultra, you don't want to overcommit to this. It's just A. It doesn't really count towards losing the round. Let's just stay alive and kicking. Keep map control. That's why they're not overcommitting. They're going to give it up. After Attach will find some kills. But all in that, Toronto Ultra now pushed over towards green. A little bit more control over B. I said, I kind of agree with the play. You didn't see them moving too much. They didn't want to overcommit to trying to take that back.
Yeah, I think it was Attach up top. They were just like, yeah, we're not really going to get away with this. But here's the difficult one. Can they find a way into B? Afro has been incredible so far. They need him once again, and down he goes. 49 seconds left on the clock. Minnesota don't have a lot of options.
Insight's the big player here for the side of Ultra. Sitting up top green, he will slow things down. And Scump trying to find Attach will help. That's a good gunfight to win. Røkkr just playing this very awkwardly, but they need to do it a lot quicker. 25 seconds remaining, Bryce.
They're waiting. They're waiting for everything. Yeah, Afro gets a kill. Scrap gets one back.
That's huge.
It's a second.
Streak coming in.
The streak has come in and now getting onto it. They're going to stop that clock. Scrap's going to be here, though. Looking for the players. Down he goes to Cammy. Røkkr are in for the second stand. He's trying to stay alive as well. 2 players on it. The first two coming through, but he's going to hit this. He might be on the flank. I don't know who's here. Attach does. It's still Røkkr. Røkkr is still in. Cammy gets a second. Kleenex trying to clean it up. Scrap actually gets 2 of them.
Scrap.
And he's stopped the clock. Scrap has held it down. But it's still slowly but surely going towards him. Attach will eventually got him away. They're staying alive with the point. Cammy is fighting for his life on that second tick. Hoping in the control. Ultra are flabbergasted, and rightly so. Røkkr with the ice in the end. Oh my goodness.
Say it ain't so. Minnesota Røkkr. I mean, if we were to question the mental and question it no more, I mean, that looked dead and buried, but as soon as Insight falls and the second player from Ultra that is pushed up towards that field side drops, all of a sudden it's funneled through if you're Røkkr, hit the point, stay alive. Afro was just allowed to run off on his leash the whole entire game and caused issue after issue. And Cammy staying alive in the point for as long as possible. That was absurd. I think we need to watch that again in 0.5 speed to actually break it down, because honestly, Bryce, I was lost. I was just, my hands were on my head and I was just trying to take it in.
Yeah, here's our highlight package, but obviously we'll kind of take you through some of the key points in that one, and it has to be the ending. Cammy staying alive with very little cover, just managing to keep his toes inside that point. I think Attach managing to hold off Scrappy for just a second. And the dancing and the dipping and the dodging around that point allow them just enough time to get some reinforcements for Røkkr coming through. But it was so intense and it was so close. A bullet one way or the other could have ended it. If they had knocked Cammy off of that point, it would have been disastrous. But yeah, we got to talk about Afro. He was a problem. It was just so difficult for them to nail down, and he was just running amok around their respawn so many times.
And I think that's kind of how you got to play it, though, haven't you? It's not about being slow and methodical. Yes, okay, it has to be that way sometimes. And the Røkkr watch party, they would have enjoyed that one. Fantastically well done.
Chairs.
I know. Honestly, I find it disappointing that I don't have a chair that comfortable at the moment, but nonetheless, I was kicked back and enjoying that one. You were screaming. I was just trying to figure out what was going on. But putting some demons to rest there, I think, for the side of Røkkr, it has to be said.
Honestly, I think I could rewatch that ending a million times. I thought so many times it was going one way or the other. I thought when Røkkr had the bodies in, it was done and dusted. We saw the two pieces come through, but then Scrap finds two, and I'm like, well, they just have to knock off that one last player. But Cammy would not drop, and Attach would not allow Scrap to get a better position on him. It was just teamwork. It was incredible teamwork, and the fact that Cammy was just basically matrixing bullets on that control point. It must have been so frustrating. The smoke, the traces whipping past his face, and he would not go down.
I wouldn't have liked to have seen this man's mentions over the last 24 hours, but that's got to feel good. That has got to feel good for Cammy. And that is a lead now in the series for the side of Minnesota Røkkr. Tight search and destroy. They find a tight control as well after what was a comfortable map number one for the side of Ultra. So back and forth, but just I said I think the MVP in that map specifically has to be Afro. Like how much we can talk about it in terms of players just causing absolute havoc. And we know that's what Afro's game is. It's just get in their faces, find as many kills as possible. And he did it to the highest possible level there. There's so many different spots for him to find in. I absolutely loved the SMG kill. Pick up the M4. He's already dead. It was like something out of a Call of Duty advert. It was sublime. Fantastic stuff from Afro. Fantastic stuff from Røkkr. So resolute as soon as they got inside of that point. And all of a sudden, we're heading to a map number 4. Røkkr in the lead. It's bounce back time for Ultra.
Yeah, it certainly is. Unfortunately, going into a hard point, they kind of have been the favorite team on that mode, but who knows? Who really knows? Like I said, start of the season, everything's up for grabs. The stats aren't written in yet. We don't know exactly what is going to happen with these teams. There's only been some scrims and some insight we may have gotten that give us any sort of an educated guess into the actual form of these players. But yeah, again, we've got to talk about Scrap. That first map, huge 1.48.
See if we can replicate that sort of game here as we head over towards Fortress. Very rotational heavy. I mean, we'll say that a lot. This year we will be saying that a lot. It's really about the side that you start on. You know, Nameless pointed it out. It is Røkkr. on the more beneficial side here. Can they get the job done? There's now Toronto Ultra trying to lock things down as we head over towards P1. Attached and Co. Seeing if they can break out. Sorry, it is Ultra on the moment. You know what? Don't listen to me. Let's just see what happens, Pricey.
We're still playing for spawns here as well, and Bance going to be on top against CleanX, and that's his old SMG duo. And he's not going to win that fight. He's looking for him now. It's his Cammy as well. Says, all right, thank you very much. Playing very, very clean. There's the third one. Making this look casual. There's the fourth. Of course it is. CleanX, keep going. Don't worry about the M4 meta. Just keep running with the Vaznev. Eventually will go down. But it will be points over towards Ultra now, as off the back of that, they have the control. Eventually, Bance manages to get through, but incredible play from CleanX, and the rotation will be Ultras.
Heading over towards P2. They've kept a hold of those spawns. That's exactly what they want. Cammy with a couple of gunfight wins, and that might actually open up things here. It's a big kill by Scrap. Bottom mark control slows down that push from Røkkr that was coming down the road side. And all of a sudden, we head over towards the gallows. Toronto Ultra. And a decent enough setup. Big win from Standy towards the back. You can see Minnesota Røkkr really forcing the issue to try and get the spawns back here. They're all being cut down, but Attached survives. Bance through the front door. Spawns coming in over towards Statue. And Ultra can start the funnel, or Røkkr are away.
I think that you can already see Afro looking to wrap round and maybe get spawns for next as well. They know it's a money hill if you lock it in. Next still be an issue for them. Guns down, Cammy and Bance again. It almost feels personal at this point. He's probably dead silence, but he's actually going to have to wait.
Afro, that's huge.
At that point.
That's huge. He's found two on the rotation here. To the side of Røkkr. Scrap trying to find a breakthrough. Not going to happen. Off the back of a very, very early rotation. I want to say it was minimum 30 seconds left. Afro rotates round. Tight setup coming in here from Røkkr.
Inside from Cammy.
Very tight.
Holding this down. There's going to be some pressure coming through. They're going to know this. This is a very difficult break at the best of times. Already one coming through. Afro just guns him down. Says, all right, let's have a go as well, Scrap. There's too many trophies for them to make a difference with tacticals. And Afro is just holding it and waiting. Goes for the chow eventually. But they are going to lose that one out. Bance coming to reinforce in the end. And the pre-fight doesn't matter as the inside gets through. And this is all they want to do here. Ultra just want to keep that as neutral as possible and keep gunning it through. And they've done a fantastic job.
They've done a really good job. That's 30 seconds now left on that time, and it's kind of up in the air a little bit. Scrap is over there fighting over it. He will not win the gunfight, but that's some crucial time that was definitely going to go over towards Røkkr. I almost want to criticize Afro, but he's the one that sort of sets it up. That child out through the gate is one of those that I'm not too sure on, but this rotation over towards P4. We head over towards cannons. Cammy now up top art, trying to stay alive. It's going to be a long rotation over for the side of Røkkr, and it's an ever so slender lead as we head over towards P4.
Where do Røkkr find this as Ultra definitely have this one locked through. CleanX again. Eventually will fall to Afro. They're trying to break this up top. Scrap, you can see him looking in every single direction. Where are these players coming from? Eventually finds Attach, who goes for the challenge, staying alive. Nades coming out as well. Scrap eventually will fall to Bance, but they win the trades of this one in the end. And Cammy comes bouncing past and manages to keep it neutral for just a second more.
Gallows spawns coming in for the side of Attach as well, and truly going to help Røkkr out here. It's Bance up top art as well. Pressure just starting to collapse on the side of Ultra. That setup was looking good, but as soon as they lose over towards open and close and over towards the Gallows side, that makes things so much more difficult. But now if you're the side of Ultra, you start to spawn out. That last little bit of time is going to go over towards Røkkr. It's going to be about a 10-point lead as we head over towards Blacksmith. It is going to be Ultra in the better position for this hill.
Well, this is kind of what happened last time around. Both teams were very evenly matched for the majority of the hard points. And eventually, Ultra Slaying led the way. It's like looking for the player. He hasn't seen Afro. The COD timing there is outrageous, by the way. But at the moment, Røkkr look like they have better control of this map.
Ultra are honestly in a pretty decent position. Started spawning over towards stables, etc., but then started pushing just that little bit further over towards P1. They start to get the spawn there. Ultra in a tough spot up, and Røkkr just managed to push across. So very, very well played. Attached. Oh, that's a gunfight. You're probably going to win, and you thought you probably did win.
I think a statue got in the way. I think that's what it was. The blacksmith statue ended up stopping enough bullets. But both teams seem content to let this go to neutral as they set up for next. Not only setting up for next, but setting up for P1 and P2. Will be Røkkr who will be in this point first, but this is all about map control.
Soaking up some good time there. The side of Røkkr and Afro. Slow down a little bit now. As Attach left all alone inside the truck. He will manage to start picking up some time. Need some support if he can get it, though. Keep an eye on Bance over towards the gates. He's just going to be cutting off any kind of reinforcement. And that's now the thing. So Bance starts to push through. They know that that's going to start coming through because the spawn that comes in from Ultra, they know exactly what's going on. Inside turns around, takes care of Bance, and it's close spawn that Røkkr now have to deal with. And deal with it they do.
Cammy, though, coming under pressure. Doesn't have the reinforcements for it, and so he has to let that CiDL sit. Look at this, they're going to try and pitch it as well, and KiSMET gets 2. Looks for the third, Cammy gets it, but not able to get the second one.
Flip.
Yeah, it is, but smart play coming in from Ultra to try and get that away before they give him the full 60. Good science from Bance, slowly but surely coming through. Actually waiting for that player to challenge. He knows Stanley's going to do it, but Stanley guns him anyway. And while Røkkr have the advantageous position for next, they're still fighting for this scrap time.
Yep, might as well fight over it. You're not going to lose any spawn from the position that you are in there now. If you're the side of Ultra, you're still going to start spawning over towards the fortress side. That's aBeZy, everybody. Clinic's getting it done. Insight will find a gunfight as well, so a lot of pressure coming in to Røkkr, who do have the beneficial spawns. Clinic's pushing through, has some support from Scrap, and that is just a complete collapse from the side of Røkkr. Ultra just funnel through the front door, break it wide open, and there's 40 seconds to play for here. Over towards Gallops.
There certainly is. Well, Ultra will be holding this one against the pressure. Let's find out how they are coping with Toronto Ultra. Listen in.
Two behind stage. Let's lane behind stage.
One guy's getting out low green, getting out low green.
I'm driving back.
Low green, one shot. Behind the stage, behind the stage. They go front, hitting front. Spawn here, there's two front.
I'd already be here, Jimmy. Behind me gate. I'm one shot.
I'm bottom gate.
Good try, bro. Stun gate.
I'll kill gate, I'll come gate.
Jimmy, deep right thing. Gate still.
Gate dead.
Yeah, he's hit me top green, other box. He's jumped off of the box now, close left, one's new.
Yeah, close left to me.
Box in new.
Big back, lane close. Yeah, one shot, deep back one shot. He's on time.
Oh, stay alive.
Two. My top.
Back, one more. How many gate?
Weak on me.
Back.
Nice. Front. Not weak. He's going top green steps.
They're gonna spawn low pillars. They're getting green.
He's laying down green steps.
They're gonna spawn behind.
Yo, front of me. There's two front.
Two green steps.
I'm on front.
They already fucking hit it. Already close right.
Close right. Afro on time.
Oh, good. Wait up. Good. Yeah, one could be low.
Top green.
Alright, low green.
Chain these next few hills, okay?
Left side hill.
On the back green, heady.
Oh, good. One might be up P1.
The ring. No, nothing up P1.
Okay.
Lane on close, weak, attach.
We're good.
Trap him.
In. Make sure we also go back, okay?
One guy's top green. Need top green.
Okay, one's gate. He's still gate.
Looking left.
Look at right now.
Gate, dead. Left side now, left one shot. That's absolutely stable. Left, dead. Could be top green on me.
I'm backing up.
Full 6, you were backing up.
I'm backing up as well, okay? Yep.
I'll get you.
Yep.
I got you. Yo, go pillars. Pillars. Nice. You have time. I'm going top.
I'm done.
Well, Ultra trying to remain calm after losing a lot of time there. They have got their game plan ready. Don't let them out. Set up for 60. Get back into this game. Huge plays off that last hill for Røkkr.
Fantastic. Well done. I think Bance is really the catalyst for them there. Helps them rotate over towards P2 where they get a good chunk of time, flips the spawns, and then over towards P3 and the statue, staying alive towards the stairs. Some third gunfight win for Standy. As Ultra, as you said, the composure is very much there. They need to lock in a full 60 here to get themselves back into this game. That is a good, solid 20-30 points on the board. Still around 50 behind. Attached just so well to win that gunfight against Standy, and these trades are going Røkkr's way. Ultra not out of this by any stretch of the imagination. But it's a 50-point lead and a growing one for Minnesota Røkkr.
There's an insight, just trying to do everything he can to be a problem for them. That next hard point is going to pop, and it is possible to come straight back in this game for Ultra. They have the setup they're looking for as well. Bance goes straight over, and Standy just says, thank you very much for the easiest kill I'm going to get. They're looking for a Cammy Tactica too, though. Standy's now coming under pressure. He knows players are going to be coming across him any second now, and they do, but it doesn't matter. He's
Big wins.
To it.
Big wins.
And this is a lot of time for them.
It's a P1 spawn. Do they know about it? I think they will start to figure it out. And yeah, okay, it's going to be down to CleanX here. I hope he's got an info in that situation. He gets taken down straight away. Afro with the knife kill onto Insight. And all of a sudden, it's fallen apart again. There's been a couple of occasions that Ultra have had the rotation. They've had the setup where Røkkr are breaking it just far too easily at the moment.
Yeah, look at this. They're already to try and get this next set of couple of rotations. Ultra don't really want to give them this scrap time, but they're also looking for their own positioning. Afro gets taken down as well. And here's the kind of the highlights for Ultra. They can chain this. They can get back into this game. It is not over.
I think we're going to see this quite a lot this year. It is never over until it truly is over. But CleanX has got a big job to do towards the back end. Does find one. He is surely going to get traded. Afro now. If you're Røkkr, you're playing this perfectly because you're just thinking about spawns, heading over towards the next. But you need to stop the side of Ultra, trying to bring this one back. Rotations once again towards Gallows. Do you belong to the side of Ultra? And that is important for them. But Røkkr are the ones finding the time here. Bryce, they're 15 away.
They're looking for it. They're looking for the player up top. They know Inside's going to be here. He does go down. There's a fight onto the hill, and a Tactic's going to win it as well. And they're so far away. They're just going to stack this point. Knees will rain in to try and make the difference. Ultra have to go. They cannot afford anything. And with 4 seconds left to go, it looks like Røkkr are locking them out of the hill. It's 2-4. Got the point. Oh, God. Oh, God. It works out, though, as Afro manages to get 2. Attach jumps back in. And the exhilaration and jubilation coming out of the Røkkr camp. They needed a W, and they got it against bitter rivals. The team that dropped Cammy and Bance last year have just been handed an L. But my goodness, what a game.
A sensational game. Close maps across the board. Last night, there would have been one team going to bed believing and thinking about control, but I think Ultra are going to be the ones doing that tonight. That's going to be one they feel like that slipped through their fingers. And heading into a map 4 that you've got to win. Røkkr played superbly. Ultra, really, for me, a couple of rotations that they were winning. They were getting into good positions, but just not locking it down. We spoke about this just in theory, that if players are rotating, if they're winning the rotation, you've got to be getting the points for it. I'd love to say the stats of the amount of rotations that Ultra won, but really found very little from. But I have to give props to Røkkr. Their rotations were better on occasion. And when they did find those rotations, they found the points. They found the breaks when they needed to as well. It's a big, big game out of them. It's a statement win. A lot of questions asked about this Røkkr lineup. We've all said that we kind of liked it, but where did we kind of put them? It's a bit of a litmus test, of course, against Ultra. Both these teams are going to be towards the top end of things, I believe. But Røkkr showing this time around they're the better. Afro was once again superb.
Yeah, probably one of the standout players there in that game as well. I think CleanX had an incredible start. Both teams really having highlight reels of themselves. Also got to point out the Bance play, you know, staying alive on that rotation to Statue and found in. I don't know how he was alive so long, but he just held up Ultra and kept making kills. But eventually, I think they gave him 40 points by themselves.
And I think, you know, you sort of speak back to, it feels like Statue is where things really slipped out of Ultra's hands on 2 different occasions there. Afro with an early rotation round with about 30 seconds to go, finds a couple of kills all on his own to lock it in for Røkkr, and we know that it's such a massive hill. They did it twice. They found the rotation, they found the kills, and it was Bance on the second time around who stayed alive at stairs to allow the reinforcements to come in from Stable, because it was a good push from Ultra through gate, does not work out. What a series that was. The Search and Destroy was phenomenal. Really good 2 hard points and fantastic control. Plenty of drama on iLLeY, but this time for the right reasons, Bryce.
Yeah, I think so. And again, I have to highlight Afro. I think I'm sure the Death will, when we get to them eventually, talk about how influential he was. One of the questions, and maybe has been overshadowed by everything that we've spoken about on the run up to this and the things that happened yesterday, is just how I'm going to put it. Afro's question was, how does he deal coming out of that London roster with a new team, with new players around him? Does he shine or not? At the moment, he is shining. And it does put a different kind of twist on how we look at this Røkkr roster. And I'm looking forward to see what they do next time.
Yeah, I think you're very, very right. You know, we knew what we were going to get from Cammy and Bance on a team together. Attach is always going to do his job. Afro was the question mark. Questions answered immediately here.
It certainly was. Well, let's take it over to the desk then and see what they had to think of it.
Great job, gentlemen, and congratulations to the Minnesota Røkkr. You are closing out the opening weekend with a 2-0 record, but it didn't start off pretty here, aLLeY. This was Toronto Ultra coming in. We thought they had the stronger roster on paper, and they came out firing on that opening map of Hardpoint.
Yeah, Yeah, no, the opening hardpoint was definitely close in the beginning, especially after Attach and Afro had lockdown. I believe it was like P4, but the issue is they had 0 rotation. Toronto was always there first, and I have to point out something very specific. Standy had 2 minutes and 45 seconds in hill time in that map 1. I'm interested to see what he had in map 4, but that also causes a blaring issue for me because that means they are not spreading across. The next closest was a minute, and so I'm worried about the teamwork moving forward with Toronto Ultra Squad.
That used to work way back in the day. You could just have one dedicated OBJ player. And what do you want to see from them to clean up in the future, if anything?
I think in Search and Destroy, there were a couple times where they bit some bait that they shouldn't. You know, honestly, excellent play out of the Minnesota Røkkr. I expect them to be great at Search and Destroy all season long. But if you go back and rewatch that game, there are a few times Minnesota set up a wonderful offensive push going over towards B, baiting the players on Toronto back out towards Carpet, and then making a play on the A bomb site. That happened to Toronto 3 different times on 3 occasions. And then also that game 3 control. We'll get into that in a bit. But the offensive push, beautiful, well executed by Minnesota.
And you got to remember Afro clutching up. It was 3-3 in that search. That round 7 1v1. That seemed to be where the momentum started for Minnesota. But Control, if it didn't start in that game 2, it definitely finished at the end of game 3. Let's revisit the final moments of the Control. This is our scuff play of the game with Minnesota clutching up with their back against the wall, Nameless.
Listen, no SAE this time around, and it is all set up by a 2-piece out of Afro prior to what you're seeing on your screen right here. But then it was Cammy just playing his life behind this box. He picks up 2 huge kills, which sets them up for the offensive win when at one point they were down in lives in this situation. Just big kills.
And now we're just looking at the clock here. It's ticking down, final seconds. You have to stay in the hill under 10. This one came down to the very final moment. Bance was in the right place at the right time multiple times in that game, and he clutches up at the end.
Yeah, no, I think Nameless executed that perfectly. So, you know, after Afro got that 2-piece, Cammy just played his life, stayed alive the entire time. Attach played his life as much as he could, just gave their teammates the opportunity to clutch up and still have time to get to the point to create the contest. It was just beautiful play out of Minnesota.
I honestly thought we were going to see a game 5, another search and destroy, but the Røkkr get it done in hardpoint. A 3-1 is going to put them at 2-0. Toronto Ultra, they're going to be scratching their heads and thinking about a few individual plays that could have had a very different outcome on this series. Right now, though, we are joined by the captain from Minnesota, the man that took me out to an omakase sushi dinner. Attach is in the building. And Attach, when you came up to New York City at that dinner, I asked you, what do you think about your new team, and who are you most excited to play with? Right away, you said Afro. How did he play for the squad today? How did you feel about Minnesota's performance?
I mean, Marcus has been amazing. He just is able to sneak through so many times, pop 2 and 3 pieces, and really open the map up for us. So Cam and I could just get pushed up, lock the map down, and everyone was doing their thing today.
Yeah, congratulations on a huge win against the Toronto Ultra. I mean, this was a good match for Bance and Cammy as well to go up against their old franchise. But for you personally, you had to switch roles last year into a main AR. I want to know how that meta feels for you coming into this year.
It's definitely a little adjustment period, but with the new game every single season, there is a lot to always learn, and it's definitely much different from Vanguard. Vanguard with the auto, you can still like run around and go crazy. This game, if you have like a slower paced M4, you kind of have to like post up and chill. And yeah, I like to just be moving, so I kind of have to like chill, get my ADD to relax, and just chill.
Well, Dylan, congratulations on the win. You guys looking fantastic out there. But I want to talk about like how you guys bounced back from yesterday. I mean, I know the mentions have just been insane, and you're so well liked by the community. I saw a lot of people, you know, coming at you guys in different ways. What did you say to the team, or what was the discussion like headed into today's match?
I mean, of course, everything that happened was not good, and we never want to have a match end up like that. And I was just telling everyone, like, yo, like, just don't tweet anything, don't say anything bad, like don't mess with the situation. Like if we're gonna say something, just put out something official of what happened from our perspective, and just not to really make fun of it because it is a serious situation. So we kind of just dealt with all the hate, and I'm sure there's gonna be a lot more, but at least people are watching Call of Duty on Twitch again, and the views are popping. So it was a tough situation, and it sucks, but here we are. Just gotta move forward.
Who gained the most followers on the squad?
Yeah, let's be honest, Dill.
Who gained the most followers? Definitely not Cam, I don't think. Definitely not Cam.
Cammy, you got to follow for me, buddy. Well, Dylan, congratulations. You guys get your second win of the opening weekend. I want to get your final thoughts. So Toronto Ultra looking like a very strong squad in their own right. What should other teams look out for when they're facing up against the Ultra?
Ooh, like what other teams match up well versus them, or what other teams are looking good?
What should they look out for? What was the strongest part of Ultra that you saw when playing against them?
Okay. I mean, Ultra, like, they're just a super talented team. I think they're the youngest team in the league, too. So once they have more time to really gel together and get their game plan down, they have the gunny, they have the movement, they have all that. So once they put it together, they're going to be really good.
Awesome. Attach, always a pleasure chatting with you. Great to see you back on the sticks. Another season for Dylan Attach. He's in the building, and we're going to let you go party with the rest of the team.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Cheers, brother. Great stuff talking with him, but as we close this out, I also want to touch on the fact that we got a finally chance to see this Ultra squad. We get a chance to see them again tomorrow. This is a team that a lot of people are excited about. And how dope was it, Ant? I saw you all over social media retweeting that they are playing in front of a live audience. They're doing big things up there in Toronto.
Absolutely. I mean, they're trying to channel, you know, that local fan base, which Minnesota does really well. Now we're seeing other teams do it. Toronto building it up. It looked great in that room.
Like, yeah, it looked like a vibe.
Yeah, it looked like an absolute vibe. And, you know, for Toronto Ultra, took a big risk. This is the start of a great storyline now, though. Bance and Cammy get that first victory. It's going to be a rivalry all year long.
And apologies, Toronto. I now realize you are near the Great Lakes, nowhere near a tundra, but still the land of the beavers. Let me know on Twitter. That is going to close things out for our first match of the day. Thank you all for tuning in, and strap in as we have another fantastic series. aLLeY, before we go, what should people get excited for? This is day 2 of the CDL.
We have 3 more matches to go. Like, we still have so much action. That was match number 1, and we still have so much more coming.
As we go out to a break, quick reminder, guys, make sure you are getting your tickets for Raleigh, and that's not all. You can watch and you can earn big all weekend. Link your Twitch account and get it done, and you can get some big rewards.
Absolutely. And then also, remember, you link your Twitch account, you get